I girl bossed a little too close to the sun, and now I have my own business, and it's kind of crazy. I have an entire 2,000 square foot office with 5 rooms. I have an assistant that I'm responsible for paying for. I have to pay for the lights, the bills, everything, the rent, everything. And what? Like, how did it happen? How did I go from like growing up this way, being homeless? Can you sit down? Sit. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Janelle Roberts and this is my YouTube. I've been enjoying so much making these YouTubes and making these vlogs, and I feel like just been really super transparent about what I've been going through. As you can see, the hair is completely different. In my last vlog, I talked about how I've been suffering from hair loss, from stress, and the hair loss I've been suffering from has been from starting my business. And I've been able to really just manage my stress in such a way that works and makes sense. But I wanted to tell you a little bit more about like my story with starting my business. I am the owner of To All of the People Media. It is my baby. I remember when I went in toward this space, I was like bouncing off the idea with my fiance. I always knew I wanted to have like my own studio for film, video production. Even back when I was in college, I went to school for broadcast journalism. And I remember when I graduated from college. It's been a while. I graduated in 2018, and I remember I was so fucking depressed. Like, no one talks about how bad post-college graduation depression is. I was so depressed. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen in my life. I was applying for jobs left and right, and I just kept getting denied. I was seeing my peers around me getting opportunities and getting jobs, and it was so hard trying not to compare myself to them. And no one really talks about like how much further you get ahead in life when you know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just go to LA and figure it out, because I knew that I always wanted to work in the industry and work in film and work in media and things like that. And I was sitting in a box room cutting boxes for this skincare company. I was literally babysitting. I literally was babysitting. There was this thing called Helper in Los Angeles. And so like basically it's called the Helper app. So people send you text messages to go to random places with families you've never met to babysit their children. Isn't that crazy as hell? So I would literally leave work, get the text message, drive up the Malibu Canyon or wherever it was, and babysit some random person's kids. No, it could have been a serial killer. Could have been anything. Could have been anything. But my ass was just doing whatever I could to get by. And then I would do central casting, where I would get text messages where they would approve you to come in. Oh, there's ambulance coming by. But I was doing central casting where I would go from one job, then go from babysitting, then go to central casting. Sometimes central casting would be at like 7 o'clock at night and be there until like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I absolutely loved it. I loved the videography. I loved seeing the set and everything come together. And so I would go from central casting and I would go back to my first job. And I did that for almost a year when I lived in California. And COVID hit and I had to move back home. And I feel like when I moved back home, Luke had started his business when I was in college. And so his business was really thriving, and I'm so proud of him. Luke is my fiance, by the way. I'm so proud of him, and I just feel like just like watching him bloom, there was a part of me that was just like, damn, like I just hope it works out for me. Like I hope I figure it out. Like I hope I can get to where I want to get to. And then I started doing TikTok. And I remember when I made my first TikTok, I wasn't scrolling. I just literally made a date night video and it went viral. And I made another one and then it went viral. And I made another one and it went viral. And it just grew. And so I started making $200 a post. Then I started making $500 a post. Then I started making $1,000 a post. And then I started having brands like Mercedes hit me up. I started having brands, like so many just brands I've never thought I would ever work with. Prada, like just all Joe Malone, just all types of brands I've never in my life thought would ever work with. Mercedes, like it was crazy. And I just remember I went from making $200 a post to making 9,000 to 10,000 per TikTok post. And once I started seeing that traction, I took all of the money that I made, not all of it, but I took a decent amount of it and invested it in my business. And I remember the first time I walked my office, y'all, my office was so fucking dingy. I'll like insert some clips. I remember when I walked the office, it was the first office I had toured. I wanted a corner unit, I wanted it to be industrial, and I wanted it to be in downtown. And I walked the office, and there was a budget I wanted to stay within. I walked the office, and I was just like, oh my gosh. These big ass ceilings, this dark brown room, it has a smell in here. It's been empty for 10 years. There was a homeless guy that used to live in it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my fucking space. And I remember I put in the application and I got approved. And that's when the anxiety hit me. That's when the imposter syndrome started to hit me. I was like, how am I gonna fucking do this? Like, how is this gonna work? How am I going to be able to afford this space? Because the rent was expensive. How am I gonna be able to afford this space? Like, how am I gonna be able to do this? And what happened was I kept trying to run away from it. Thanks is right here. Thanks. I kept trying to run away from it, but God kept giving me signs that I should do it. I would see the same numbers over and over and over again. I believe in angel numbers. I remember when I went to What the Fuck Media in New York City to record my podcast, because essentially I have a podcast studio. I went to go record, and I want to turn it into something more. I'll tell you more about it later, but I went to go record, and I remember I was sitting in the room, and remember I got approved for the place already. I hadn't signed the lease, and Scarlett Johansson was sitting in the room next to me. And then I remember I was in New York City because I was interviewing Beyonce's photographer. I was interviewing Gigi Robinson, a Sports Illustrated model, and I was interviewing this well-known influencer. And it was just such a surreal feeling. And I was like, oh my God, like it's just so crazy that people know about the podcast, that people know about me, that people said yes to coming on. And then I remember I was talking to the production assistant that was there, and I was like, I've been thinking about, he's like, they don't have spaces like this in Dallas. And I was like, no, they don't. And I was like, I actually found a space and I kind of want, he's like, why aren't you doing it? Like 1,000%. And that was just confirmation. And so the fear that I felt, it was like almost debilitating, because I kept feeling like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, how is this gonna work? Like, and just being a Black woman too, and if you are not a Black person or a person of color watching this, thank you so much for supporting my content. I do respect it, but race is something that I will talk about because it is very present in my life. You know, oftentimes when I leave the house, I feel like I have to wear a mask, and I feel like I have to be more mindful. I feel like I have to be a lot less confrontational, because sometimes people don't have the emotional maturity to be mindful that there's a person in the room that looks like you. Like, and that has just like been my life entirely growing up, where I have in a way suppressed my emotions because the world and society doesn't allow Black women to express themselves, and if we do, we seem angry. And I just kept holding on to the lease, and then I signed it. And remember when I signed the lease, there was like 7 or 8 months where I was finding contractors to come in and fix the place up, and they just kept falling through. They kept falling through. The place needed a full renovation. They just kept falling through. And eventually it got done. But I don't think people realize I've had the space for almost a year. And I've had to make sure to make that payment every single year. That is with no loans. That is where no investors. I don't have mom and dad there to save me. I don't have that at all, actually. I don't have a fallback plan. I don't have a backup plan. I feel like that's like why starting my own business was just like so important to me, because I wanted to have something for myself. And I knew that if I wanted to get to where I wanted to get to, I would need some sort of income to help me follow my dreams. And I know that sounds so crazy, but sometimes you do need a little bit of leverage to help you follow your dreams. Whether it's acting, whether it's modeling, there has to be something there that's gonna help you make money to fulfill that thing. And it's something that shouldn't be time consuming, which is why I love social media so much, because social media was that stepping stone for me. And just seeing like what I've been able to do with my space, Like, we've been open for 3 months. We've had very slow days. We've had days that are just so busy where we're there so late, and I used to just stress out all the time. I had like 2 months where something big had happened in my life and I was not able to post because it was just a lot. I had a situation that had happened where I don't even want to talk about it because it's like it just consumed so much of my energy, and I was just afraid to post because someone had lied and made up something and said I did something I didn't do. It was honestly so crazy, and I couldn't post anything. Like, I felt frozen in those 2 months. I didn't get any brand deals, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna do this? Like, how am I gonna do that? And then I remember when I started posting, I literally got a brand deal for $10,000 with Macy's. And then I got another brand deal. And then I got another brand deal. And I just think it's so, like, God is so funny. Like, if you tell God your plans, he's gonna laugh. And nothing is ever gonna be easier. Everything will always just be like all over the place. And I just want you to know that everything in your life is a stepping stone. And if you want to get to where you want to get to in life, you're going to have to make some very smart decisions about who you keep around you. And not in a transactional way where you're using people, but don't be around people that are just going to bring you down here. Be around people that are going to uplift you. And throughout this process, I have spent so much time alone. I don't have a lot of friends. The circle is basically fucking non-existent, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm really happy that it's this way, and I'm just happy with the woman that I'm becoming and where I'm headed. And when I sit back and do the scale of where to all the people media could be, it kind of makes me smile because eventually I want to open up more locations and be able to do this and open it up in different cities and stuff. And I'm just really happy, and I feel really blessed. And I always think about this thing that I say to myself, because some people are like, money doesn't buy happiness. It's a fucking lie. It definitely does. And people that say money doesn't buy happiness have never been broke. They've never gone without it. Money pays for therapy. Money pays for healthcare. Money pays for a lot of different things. And my mind has never been, oh, I should cut back. My mind is like, nope, I need to make more money so I can get the things that I want. Because why would I ever hold off and close off opportunity for myself? Do you know what I'm saying? For myself, for my growth, for my dreams and my personal development. If I'm worth it, then why not me? So that is just like something that I want you to know, is like sometimes there's so much beauty in the isolation process and so much beauty in figuring out who you are. We have the hard launch coming up. I think I'm going to do a weekly vlog next week for that, so everybody can see what's going on. And then we're going to just really dive deep into like my wedding series, because I am getting married in just a couple of months and my dress should be here soon. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to get fit, but I thought it could be fun if you guys just spent a couple of days with me over the weekend, just to hang out and chill. I want to like insert some clips and show you the space, the office, like the before, the after, like some of the things that we did in the space to kind of make it look the way it looks now, jazz it up. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Let's get into the vlog. I already know for certain I'm going to get so hot wearing this outfit, but we're gonna wear it because why not? Who cares? I actually got this from a small business owner in Chelsea when I was in New York City. And it says Aquarius right here on it. I don't know if you can see it because she's an Aquarius. I have a lot of Virgo in my charts as well. But this is my outfit of the day. And I'm wearing it with this super cute Princess Polly tee. But the first thing that I need to do is go by the office, and then after the office, I need to send out my wedding invitations for the wedding. Can you guys believe that the wedding is like less than 100 days away? Like, it's crazy how fast the time flew. And like me and Luke, like we are such foodies, like we eat so much. We were like, oh, we'll start next month. Then we checked the calendar, we're like, oh my God, like we got to stop with all this eating. So we're going to head out, we're going to go, and Hi Dallas, welcome to the To All the People Media Company, your Dallas podcast recording studio. This is our space. This is our gorgeous lobby. It is an ambiance-driven space, and we just wanted to feel like you're at home, and most importantly, catching a vibe. We wanted to create a space that is warm, inviting, and very telling of like what we're putting out. When you look around, you see women holding newspapers. There's a photo of Angela Davis, James Baldwin, amazing writers, the decorum, the faces. We wanted to convey a story that was settled, but there and also present. But most importantly, the most important part of this entire experience are our rooms. So let's go. This is Studio A. This is the white and pink room, which is one of my favorite. There's so much natural light in here, and we wanted it to keep it this way so it just feels like you're in a space with your friends. We have these gorgeous boucle chairs that are just really good for canceling out noise. This really cool asymmetrical just coffee table, high quality mics, as well as these gorgeous sheer curtains that just kind of block out the sun, but in this way that also brings in natural light. I think the one thing that makes To All the People Media stand apart is the simple fact, first and foremost, you get to support a female-owned business. Not to mention that each one of our rooms include a producer, meaning that when you show up, you don't have to worry about a single thing. There isn't a code you put in to get in the door. There isn't someone that's just handing you stuff and then you go off. No, we handle it all. We handle the cameras, we handle the audio, we handle the visuals, we handle the lights. You just show up as you are. You don't have to worry about a hard drive or all of these other tidbits and steps that you have to take because we have you covered. You receive your files within 24 hours, and then if you want us to edit it, we got you covered also. Studio B is the dark and moody room. My favorite thing too is how we can play around with the lighting in this room. Check out behind me. I can do orange, I can do green, I can do blue, teal, purple, yellow, whatever you need, we got it. Next up, white room, the content space. A lot of people are like, I don't know where to shoot my photos. I want to have a small gatherings. Maybe I want to have a small intimate baby shower. Maybe I want to have something for my brand. We also have the perfect space for our members that come into. This is the white room. You have an entire view of the Dallas skyline, these gorgeous Japanese-inspired walls, and I can't even describe the vibes at night. We had a party here recently and it was absolutely amazing. This is perfect for people that want to do photo shoots. This is perfect for people that want to have small gatherings. When it came to decorating this entire office, it was a journey. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you guys. There was a homeless man that used to live here. This space was vacant for almost a decade. We had to redo the floorboards. We had to redo the lights. We had to do the paneling that you see here on the wall. We also had to do the shelving. We had to scrape this and just completely start over. I wanted this space to just be exactly what I had envisioned it to be, and I didn't want to stop anywhere until we got there. We wanted to create studios, individual studios that are high quality and make you feel like you're on a set. That's why we took the time out to get the boucle chairs. That's why we took the time out to get the perfect coffee table. That's why we took the time out to create the black room. That's why we took the time out to hire the best producers on site. That's why we took the time out to study audio engineering. That's why we took the time out to buy the most perfect cameras just for the space. But this is the To All the People Media Studios, and we would love for you to have you guys. We would love for you guys to come out and book and support us today.